Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Yes, I'm back in bed and we're going to continue doing my videos. Current blood sugar is 77. Still got a lot of time left for calibration. It's going to be a moment before I have to do my finger poke again. Blood sugar has been up, but hovered around 10 for most of the day. But I did not go over 10, so you will see when we get into my time and range. Now, let's take a look at some of this information. This tells me everything's working correctly. And I have, my battery is high. I have 201 units of insulin available. I have 6 days of sensor life, and the transmitter battery is at 91%. So this is also telling me that everything is working correct. Okay, time and range. Let's get out of here. Time and range, 95%. This has come down. We're still not out of the woods with this, but 95% in range, 1% below 3.9. So hopefully tonight that'll drop off and I cannot worry about that. Average sugar is 7.4. That's my morning introduction. Today, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about technology and type 1 diabetes. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. Hi, we're back. You know, over the past 7 years, technology and type 1 diabetes has really taken off. I can remember when the first glucometer came out, that was sort of, oh my God, that was so high tech, and not everyone got one. They weren't as widespread. The school nurse spoke to my dad, and we got a glucometer. I never really used it. I never really understood. Yeah, it was still kind of a gimmick. It wasn't until a couple of years later that I really started to learn and know what these glucometers have done for us. They also have changed so much. I had to wait, I want to say it was like 3 minutes to do a blood test, but that still seems kind of low. And now we're down, once you do the blood test, get the blood in, it takes about 5 seconds. It's amazing how technology has changed. Back then, you could, if you had a glucometer, you could really only have one. And this was back in the old cell phone era, where the cell phones were like a brick, and you had to carry the brick with you all the time. So this glucometer was about this size, and it was an awful lot of technology to have. the biggest thing I did with it was I did blood tests at the school open house for the science part, and I did all about doing blood sugars. That is not effective use of technology. Before you go out and you purchase any sort of new diabetes technology, whether it be a pump, a glucometer, a port that you can just insert insulin in, and a smart insulin pen with a digital reader. Make sure you have a true purpose for it, that you're not just getting it for the sake of having the newest kind of diabetic. It's kind of like Christians having the biggest Bible. Oh, I have the newest technology. Oh. If you're not going to use the technology, don't bother getting it. Years ago, I fought for the right to have the sensors that went with the pump. I had to go in front of the provincial medical board to say that I needed the sensors for life because I could not go out and live a normal life without my sensors. I'd end up in emergency night after night after night for a couple of weeks because I just didn't have the sensors. So we applied, we got into internal base. We won, saying it was a glucometer. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was the first one in BC to be covered sensors. Up till then, they thought sensors were just an accessory. Yes, they covered the pump, but they didn't cover the accessories. But we won and we went. At one time, the province did not pay for an insulin pump. You had to buy the insulin pump you had. If you were on insurance, you could get it. When I got my second insulin pump, I was on my company I worked for health plan, and I used that pump for many years. Not effectively, because I would have found out that pump was outdated. And by the time I started seeing my diabetic nurse at first, I was so out of date. Now I have the most up-to-date pump, and it's keeping me in line. And I have the pump, I have the sensors, I have the glucometer, I have the pen to prick. All of these are really important to your success if used correctly. The pump needs to be calibrated. The new exciting features that I have on here that can give me my pump and my readings all along. It's nice to have, but it's not there to just be shown. My dad, during the 80s and the oil boom, we had to go and live down in Texas for a while. And they decided, well, maybe that you go to your diabetes education center or support group or something along those lines. And there was a person who wore an insulin pump a little bit bigger than this phone. And it actually had a syringe with insulin, and it was, thinking back at it, how compact and better things have gotten. They're now doing so much more. This now is starting to give me insulin and correct and stop, give me insulin if I need to. I don't really have to think about it. I still can press a button and see what my blood sugar is. I can see where trends are. But this allows me to know what's going on, which is important for me, because if I don't know I'm going low and I just go off and do things, because I don't feel the lows, I'm not going to get the sweats, I'm not going to get the shaking, I'm not going to get the blurry vision, not going to get the headache. I could end up in trouble. The pump, even the simplest form, helped me, and we grew. So, can technology work for you? Again, it's all bright and new idea. I can remember I saw an ad, I don't know where, if it was just in a magazine or it was from Medtronic, and it was a sensor that read your blood sugar. And I must have at least been on my pump for a bit. And I thought, who would want to add another sensor to your butt? Like, why would anybody really want that? And years later, I'm doing this every week. Every week, one day out of the week, I have to redo my whole pump and get it going. And now I can work at it. I can see what my blood sugars are. 6.1. 6.1. So I know I'm right along the edge. I did a finger poke and I was at 6. So this is actually very close to where I am. Technology is wonderful. But again, you're going to have to utilize it. If you're not utilizing technology, it's not going to work. So what do we have to do? First of all, you're going to have to find out all the information you can about it. Ask your doctor. Find out from your diabetes education center. How will this affect my diabetes? What do I have to do to ensure the diabetes works correctly? It's going to take an uphill curve. So nowadays, the pump is more and more becoming the gold standard for an awful lot of people. And when I go into the hospital, and even when I came in here, they wanted to put me on needles, and I said no. And I take the pump, and I take care of the pump, and I can get any blood sugar reading at any time and know what it is. So now we're starting to rise again. So I'm not saying no, you can't have technology. What I'm saying is, if you have technology, utilize the technology. It could really help you in your diabetes quest. Have a great day, and we'll talk later. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.